Welcome to Let's Talk, a podcast series by the Electrochemical Safety Research Institute of UL Research Institutes. I'm your host, Rindu, and today we will talk about the safe recycling of lithium-ion batteries, which today is one of the most significant emerging problems in the world of waste management. There are several risks and challenges associated with the recycling process, which need careful attention. But does the process of recycling start only in the waste or battery recycling facility? The answer is no. Battery recycling starts from our homes, and it is significant that the public or consumers are aware and informed about the proper and safe disposal of lithium-ion batteries to start with. In today's episode, our guests, Christiana Martins and Kristen Kunkel from Do-Goodery, will talk to us about a national education campaign on safe recycling of lithium-ion batteries launched by the Electrochemical Safety Research Institute of UL Research Institutes. Christiana is the founder and CEO of Do-Goodery, a consulting agency that works with brands who have an authentic commitment to doing good. With a wealth of experience in corporate social responsibility and environmental and social impact, Christiana founded Do-Goodery to help nonprofits and corporations alike to improve lives and reduce inequity with empathy, joyful collaboration, and a research-based approach. We are also joined by Kristen, who is the Director of Sustainability Impact Strategies at Do-Goodery. Kristen leads research, strategic development, and impact evaluation for their clients interested in creative pathways towards a safe and more sustainable future. Kristen also manages research and evaluation needs across Do-Goodery's client portfolio. Kristen, welcome to the Let's Talk podcast, and thank you very much for being here.
Hi, Rindu. It's so great to be here.
Thanks for having us, Rindu.
Thank you. Christiana, you have wide experience working on different subjects having environmental and social impact. Please tell us about your journey in this field and why, according to you, creating awareness on safe recycling of lithium-ion batteries is important.
Absolutely. It's been an interesting journey. My parents are both immigrants. My father was from World War II Germany, and my mother is from El Salvador. By the nature of where they came from, being resourceful, being sustainable, it was just the nature of how they were raised and how they had to survive. And so for me, being around that, reusing, reducing, recycling has just been a part of our nature. And it's been a part of my lifestyle since I was a little kid. And then when I was younger, I got involved with various environmental organizations, very much on the sort of public facing side, doing volunteer work, doing my own little campaigns. I think about like my first Earth Day campaign. It makes me laugh. I went to a Catholic school and I pitched this idea to the nuns in the early 90s or mid 90s. And everyone thought I was crazy. But it's just been something that I think is really important, because when we look at the bigger picture of climate change and all the issues that we're facing as a society right now and what the implications of that might be, while innovation and technology are going to be incredibly important to us finding a way to a better world, individual behavior change is equally as important. And without the both coming together, I don't see how we get ourselves to this brighter future. So for us, when UL came to us about this idea of helping the UL Research Institutes with a lithium-ion battery recycling campaign, we got really excited because our team at Do-Goodery, all of us, many of us have a background in sustainable education, environmental education, and it's something that's near and dear to our hearts. And we think that UL has an incredible opportunity to inspire behavior change because of the incredible research work that UL does. And our forte is to really help tell the story and engage people to make a change and make a difference. So that's why we're here. And it's a campaign that we're really excited about. And we think that UL could not be the more perfect partner to help us get this word out.
Thank you. Thank you, Christiana. Kristen, can you shed more light about this awareness campaign and what are its objectives and plans?
Sure. Yeah. So like with any awareness campaign, when we first sought out to think about the goals and objectives for this campaign, we started by asking ourselves, why should people care about recycling lithium-ion batteries? And in the age of information overload, where people are just being hammered with global challenges and what they should do, just how does this issue have relevance in the average person's everyday life? We really wanted it to be accessible to them. So the ultimate awareness goal is to help people understand the importance of safely recycling lithium-ion batteries and Li-ion-powered devices by first starting to help them understand the huge role that Li-ion batteries play in their day-to-day lives. Just about every portable electronic device that the average US citizen uses is going to be powered by lithium-ion batteries. Cell phones, wireless headphones, smartwatches, e-cigarettes, everything that people have in their hands on a day-to-day basis. And so what we really wanted to do was think about that enormous relevance to the average person and what is it that they can do in their daily lives, and capturing their attention with that immediate relevance to open the door for deeper discussion about all the many ways that lithium-ion batteries are changing the way we live and contributing to a safer and more connected world. And so beyond raising this general awareness, we really wanted to center the campaign messaging around taking action to contribute to UL's safety and sustainability goals. And with so many Li-ion-powered devices right in the hands of the average person, our aim is really to encourage people to take simple steps to extend the lifespan of their Li-ion-powered devices as much as possible, and then to know where and how to safely recycle them once they do reach the end of their life. And so to meet these goals around raising awareness and eliciting action, we're coordinating a widespread national campaign using some clever and engaging video content. And we're also developing a high school classroom challenge to engage students and teachers in taking actions in their local communities to contribute to safe and sustainable lithium-ion battery recycling, and create their own short videos they can use on social media in their outreach efforts to encourage other people in their school or community to do the same.
Yeah, that's quite exciting. And if we can continue with you, why were high school students selected as the target audience for this campaign? And will the campaign messages and activities resonate with the adults or the general public as well?
Yeah, so we focused our campaign messaging on high school students for a couple of reasons. First of all, because they're significant users of Li-ion-powered devices. Just about everything they touch and use on a regular basis in their everyday lives is powered by lithium-ion batteries. They're also a generation deeply invested in advancing climate solutions. They have a well-developed understanding of complex global issues because they've been learning about them and discussing them for their entire lives. And they've been inundated with information about the enormous systemic challenges and the negative repercussions of inaction. And they're just ready to be active participants in solutions. They don't need in-depth explanations of the risks to participate and take in action. They're motivated, and they have the active social networks and platforms to spread the word. So while we are focusing messaging on the high school audience, well, the high school demographic and college age demographic is definitely who we're specifically targeting. The campaign will absolutely be relevant and impactful for people of any age. I think generally people are just wholly unaware of where lithium-ion batteries exist, what the issues are around improperly disposing of them, or just how easy and accessible it is to recycle them safely. So unlike a lot of other higher profile issues like climate change, I think the information alone around safely recycling lithium-ion batteries will be really eye-opening to a lot of people who will be very ready to treat their lithium-ion powered devices in a different way.
Great. Thank you so much, Kristen. Christiana, how do you think a campaign like this will help the mission of the UL enterprise to work for a safer and more sustainable world?
Well, first of all, UL is one of the coolest organizations I think I've ever been able to work with. I've been working with UL for 15 years, and I was very young when I first started working with UL, and UL to me was the UL with a circle around it, and that was about it. But when I really got the opportunity to understand exactly the things that UL does to make our world safer and more sustainable, it's mind-blowing. It is mind-blowing to me, and it also makes me feel better about existing on this planet because I don't think many of us understand that there are organizations like UL that are genuinely dedicated to making this world safer and more sustainable. So, through messages and actions, we can encourage the general public to be part of the solution. And while UL is very focused on finding the science behind and the engineering behind these solutions, it's really important for the general public to be able to understand it in a way that makes them feel like they don't have to be a scientist, they don't have to be an engineer to help solve our world's biggest challenges. And so I think centering the messaging around UL's core tenets of safety and sustainability, not to just educate the benefits of electrochemical safety science, but also for shaping a smarter, more connected society. And for us, we think that UL, because of the work and the research grounded in true science, it allows us to have the opportunity to go out with messaging that is grounded in the truth, it's grounded in science, for people to go, okay, this makes a lot of sense. And because there is also so much doom and gloom out there about our planet right now, that it makes people just shut down. And so for us, the opportunity, and we're so grateful that UL is willing to go along with this idea of how to make this a more fun and engaging campaign in a way that catches people's attention and goes, I want to be a part of this too. And so, our job at Do Goodery is to bring hope and opportunity to people rather than shaming people around bad behavior or the things that we've taught, because at the end of the day, everybody does want to do the right thing. So, we think that this campaign has the opportunity to create that bridge between the incredible work and research that the UL Electrochemical Safety Research Institute is doing to the general public, and in a way that we believe will capture the hearts and minds of people to want to be part of something that looks really fun and interesting and actionable. And for us, that's the most exciting thing about this, is what you all are trying to do is very actionable for people in really, really tangible ways.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you, Christiana. So, Kristen, coming back to you, the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals are an urgent call for action aiming towards a sustainable world. How do you see this campaign contributing to the achievement of these goals and reaching the global audience?
Yeah, so one of the things we really wanted to communicate through this campaign is the massive potential that lithium-ion batteries hold for shaping a more sustainable future. They're enormously important for renewable energy storage. They power electric cars, buses, bikes. They'll really be the pillar of safer, more sustainable cities. So in many ways, reducing risks and improving responsible practices along the lithium-ion battery supply chain contributes directly to the Sustainable Development Goals around ensuring access to affordable and reliable renewable energy. And many people just aren't aware that the same technology that powers their cell phone can also power an entire city, and that there are steps that they can take as consumers to make sure that the development of that technology can continue with minimal negative impacts. Another point that I think is worth mentioning is that the UN has identified e-waste as the next major global challenge that we'll face. But those environmental and health risks associated with e-waste aren't widely understood. People get excited about replacing their phone with the latest model and the ongoing stream of releases and the latest portable technology, and they just don't realize the impact of discarding the technologies that they're replacing. So raising awareness about the really easy and accessible ways that consumers can act more sustainably with their electronics is an important first step to addressing issues around e-waste. And as far as thinking about, how can this campaign move to a more global audience? Well, the first phase of this campaign is focused on the US. We do have some initial plans in the works for future phases that can both broaden the focus of the campaign beyond consumer behaviors and more into policymaking and business practices and other steps along the lithium-ion battery supply chain. And to reach broader global audiences, we are thinking about ways to share primarily the education and outreach resources we're developing through the UN's network. So definitely some plans in the making for extending the reach and the scope of the campaign.
Do you envision a positive behavior change amongst the students and the adults as well in the long run through this campaign?
We do. And behavior change is such a funny thing. It requires a lot of moving parts in order to create sort of behavior change on a massive scale. And repetition is one really important element of behavior change. And this may seem like a really simple one, but when you think about how people have transitioned from a plastic water bottle to the reusable water bottles and how that is so much more common to see now. But it was really hard to get people to get out of that habit of having the convenience of just popping open a new bottle, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But now I love when I go to coffee shops or I go to the park or whatever, go hiking, everyone I see is carrying a reusable water bottle, which is wonderful. And so I think why that was so successful, just like reusable grocery bags, is that it's tangible. It's not a hard ask. And while we will dive deeper into the elements of the campaign and the actions and the ways that consumers can participate in this campaign, there are going to be so many ways for them to engage in this kind of behavior change that are not a hard ask. And so my personal belief is that when you meet people where they are, and it's a relatively simple ask that can affect really big change, who doesn't want to do that? Who doesn't want to be a part of it? So I feel really confident in what we are asking people to do, that we will have some measurable impact. It's not going to happen in 6 months. It may not even happen in a year, but long-term, messaging and communication, that's the seatbelt, and seatbelts became a law in the United States. There's so many great examples of how we have collectively changed behaviors over the years with simple asks. But I'm going to toss it over to Kristen because I know she has some thoughts around this too.
Yeah, thanks, Christiana. I'm going to try to not get too long-winded here because I'm so fascinated in the social science research behind behavior change. And sort of everything that we've learned about what really moves people to act and what helps behavior change stick. And, based on that research, we are really trying to take a very targeted and hopeful approach to encourage behavior change that really sticks. We know that people are burnt out on massive challenges that they feel like they can't affect, and awareness alone is just not going to be enough to spark behavior change. There are so many ways to shut people down. Too much information will shut them down. Too much negativity will shut them down. Inaccessibility will shut them down when people ask themselves, what can one person really do about these massive global issues? So our approach here is to keep the behavior changes very targeted and to encourage those targeted behavior changes in ways that will help them stick. And in ways that will keep them hopeful. Research has found time and time again that in the face of massive global issues, hope is a necessary antecedent to lasting behavior change. And we're really trying to reinforce this hopeful messaging in how we present the issues and how we encourage people to change their behaviors in their daily lives. So, for example, we're focusing on solutions first and issues second. We're leading with what people can do to safely recycle lithium-ion batteries as a doorway into the reasons why this is important. Similarly, we're focusing on opportunities first and risks second. So we're leading with We're leading with the benefits and contributions of lithium-ion technologies as a doorway into the risks around treating them improperly. So we're really working to remain positive and hopeful in our messaging, and with those two things in mind, targeted behavior asks and hopeful messaging, we feel really positive about the impact that the campaign can have on behavior change.
Great. Thanks, Kristen. And with that, we conclude today's episode. Thank you so much again, Christiana and Kristen, for joining us today and for sharing your plans and vision for this national education campaign. It's great to have you on board. Thank you.
Thanks, Rindu.
Thank you, Rindu. So fun to be here.
Thank you. You heard from our guests today about the National Education Outreach Campaign, which aims to educate, encourage, and engage the public, especially the high schoolers, to contribute towards the safe recycling of lithium-ion batteries. This is recognized as a clear and emerging opportunity to inculcate knowledge and drive behavior change amongst the public on this subject and support the advancement of a safe, secure, and a more sustainable future. Thank you for listening to the Let's Talk podcast. Please stay tuned for our next episode.